Hey everybody, Isaac here with Eliason Whip Co. Here to bring you your July Whip Cracking 101 challenge. So this month we are going to be working on targeting. We're going to start for level 1, we're going to start with 2 basic cracks. Level 2, we're going to work into some decent sized targets, so we're going to hit some water bottles and some pasta. And then level 3, we're really going to dial it down into some small targets. You don't really need anything like a crazy stand or anything for this. Anything you can get that you can set an object on or hold an object will work perfectly for these. There's no need to go out and buy things to build a target stand for anything like that. Just find things around your house that can make things work. But I'll see you guys out at the park. Alright guys, so for level 1, we're going to do 2 simple cracks. The first one is would be working for vertical targets, which is just your cattle ones. And the second one's the hard one. The second one's going to be your sidearm flick, which is good for those horizontal targets. Now for your cattle ones, it's a really easy crack. Should be the first crack everybody learns. You're just going to swing it up, wait till the whip gets behind you, and drop your arm. And the whip should roll out towards the front. With targeting, what you're going to want to do is make sure your hand comes all the way down, you follow through with the crack, as well as you're watching where the crack is coming down at. So I'm trying to get the cracker to come down right in the middle of the camera. And that's kind of my target point. One really good trick for targeting is using a white cracker, because they really light up and you can see them as they're flying through the air at supersonic speeds. The second crack you want to use is the sidearm flick, and that's what you'll use to cut anything vertical. That's what you're going to use for soda cans, or pretty much all my Fruit Ninja Friday stuff is all going to use that sidearm flick, cutting those horizontal targets. So anything that's setting on that you want to kind of chop in half. With the sidearm flick, there's 2 ways to do it. You can use it where you start the whip in front of you and you move it up, wait till you find the point of no gravity where it just kind of floats, and then bring it forward. Or sometimes the easier way to start is starting with the whip behind you and throwing it forward. The best motion to describe it is like you're skipping a stone, or if there's any frisbee players or frisbee enthusiasts out there, throwing a frisbee sidearm. It's that same kind of wait till your arm gets almost at full extension and then a little flick of the wrist. 2 things you want to watch out for with the sidearm flick, because this is one that loves to bite the back of your legs, is making sure the whip's not curled behind you, because then when you throw it forward, it's going to catch your ankle. As well as when you pull, you want to keep the whip moving in as straight of a line as you can. So as I'm bringing the whip back, I'm turning my body, opening it up for a little bit so the whip can pass through, and then coming back through with my arm, turning my body to push the whip forward. A lot of people want to slash with it, where they're coming around and going more in a big wide circle like that. You want to get that whip to move in as straight of a line as possible as it's coming past you. So you're here and you're moving like this. Here's a couple more for the front. So that's what you're looking for with the sidearm flick. And the best way to get like that pulling forward motion is pretend you're trying to pull an extension cable out of a light socket or out of a wall socket. You're trying that pulling motion. Pull and flick. And a lot of people will concentrate most on the trying to get that flick of the wrist. That will come automatically as well as you do that pulling motion. You want to get that whip to move as straight as possible, because that's what will create that pin curl as the whip moves forward. And the tighter you can get that curl, the easier it will be for the whip to crack. So that's level 1. Level 2, we're going to use those cracks and we're going to go after some targets. Alright guys, for level 2, I have my target stand set up here with 3 targets. I have 2 sets of pasta for vertical cutting, and then I also have a water bottle up here standing on top for horizontal. And we're just going to try and hit this. We're not going to try and cut this in half. I've tried cutting water bottles in half before. It's half short of impossible. At least these anyway. The plastic's pretty thick. However, you don't need to have a fancy target stand like this. This is just what I use normally, so that's what I'm going to use. You can use a park bench, you can use a stand, you can use a... when I started out doing targeting and stuff, especially like vertical stuff like this, I had my wife hold like a broomstick out with a hair tie and some pasta on the end of that, if you want to specifically cut pasta. And then like any flat surface that'll hold a water bottle or something is perfect for holding a vertical standing target like this. So we're going to look at how to use these different cracks to hit things. So on the cattleman's, you're just going to want to find your distance. So I'm going to lay the whip out underneath the stand here. So the cracker is right underneath my target. And then I'm going to take, and then I got my feet together here. I'm going to take 1 step back fully, and then plant my right foot back. So then as I bring the whip up, I'm not going to hit that. And then as I bring the whip down, I'm going to take a step forward, and that should cut the pasta. See if I can get one more hit out of here. But that's a really good way to bring the whip up without hitting anything, so you can keep your straight line and bringing the whip down. So I'm just going to take a direct step over here when I get the left side. There we go. So that's cutting with your cattleman's crack. With your sidearm, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take that same wind up here. So I got the cracker underneath the target with my foot forward, my right foot forward. I take a step back, and this one I'm not going to make that step forward to make the cut. I'm just going to turn my body and hit the target just like that. And so I'll do a couple cracks just above it just to make sure. This is how I check my distance, because I can see that nice white cracker flowing above it. That's what I want to see. I can hit the target stand below, make sure my distance is on that way. And then I am aiming with the side of my arm, the side of my arm up, and pointing with my thumb. I have my thumb on the back, and I'm pointing with that. So line up, and there it is. Now I've seen, if you're going to try to cut something, I've experimented with 2 different ways. When the whip goes to crack, it's going to accelerate down, and the crack's going to happen right about back here-ish. So the best way to do it, and this is what I learned from Adam Winrich, is to aim just to the left of the object if you're right-handed, and that will bring it through to try and actually cut whatever you want to cut. If you want to wrap it, you usually aim to the right. and you want to aim to hit it more with the fall so it'll wrap around. The way I've trained my brain, I actually aim for the right with the cracker if I want to cut it, and then with the fall if I want to wrap the object. And you can wrap the object fairly easily, just, I don't know if you can see that, but it did wrap around. But if you want to cut something, you do want to make sure you hit with the cracker. And that's level 2. If you can get either of these, even level 1, you've got the raffle points. So you're doing good so far. Now we're going to take our water bottle and add a small target to the top of it and go for that. Well, nuts, it's time for level 3. And I have a cashew sitting on top of this buy bottle here. I was gonna use the water bottle, but it started getting a little tippy on me, so I had these and I'm just gonna use this. Again, you can set this on top of any object. You can set this down on the stand if you want to, or you can set it on top of a water bottle. This makes it just a touch harder because if you hit the water bottle anyway, you got to reset. But it also helps you get your target down to a slim factor, because if you use a larger, flatter surface, you can hit the surface and then kind of skim across. It makes it a little easier to hit the target. But we're gonna work with something about the size of a nut for level 3. You can use a grate, you can use pretty much whatever you want. You can use a small rock, anything about that size. I'm gonna use a nut because it's what I got on hand. And we're gonna try and cut it here with the sidearm. Nobody's perfect. But I'll get my distance here, like I said before, set the cracker on the ground, get my feet together, feet back, or right foot back, whip hand foot back, and I'm just going to use nice light cracks, working down on top of that nut. And sometimes I get super lucky, and there it is. But that's level 3. And we'll do one more where we'll come down from the top of it and try and hit it with a vertical cut. All right, so here we go. We're gonna try and hit the top of that bottle basically, and this is really nice coming down this way because you can really see how your whip's coming down. Is it coming down at an angle? Is it coming down at an angle this way? Is it coming down straight? Really helps get that targeting down. There we go. And that's level 3. Thank you guys so much for participating in this month and all the months prior. We'll see you in the comment section.